Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good to see you all. Glad you all are here. Welcome.
I'm actually going to put you on. I'm going to mute myself because I'm an over the road truck driver. So I'm actually at work. We're fueling right now, but I don't know if I'm going to be going. I know I got to back the trailer in. So I'm going to
Okay,
have you on mute, but I am here.
awesome. You do what you need to do as long as you can listen in. That'd be
Yes,
great.
ma'am. Yes,
Awesome.
ma'am.
Glad you're
Thank
here.
you.
Be safe while driving.
Good
Yes,
evening.
ma'am.
Hello. Glad you're here. Welcome. All right, before we get started, let's see, it's right on 7. I'm just letting some more people in. Grab whatever you need, snack, water, glass of wine, coffee, whatever that looks like. All right? Grab whatever you need, notebook, pen, if you like to take notes. All right. Welcome. Glad you're here, William. I see you're in. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. I am super excited that you are here for today's topic of conversation, which is mastering focus in a very distracted world. And I'm Professor Patchke. I am the ESL specialist at the Ally Center, and I also teach on campus in the online space. So I am extremely proud of you for being here tonight. I think most of us realize, like, we know what it feels like. To sit down with really good intentions, right, to accomplish a task, but then we get pulled into by a dozen different directions, right? Notifications, responsibilities, our thoughts, right? And the constant pressure to keep up with everything. And so, in a world that moves very quickly, and it asks so much of us, if focus can feel extremely challenging to really hold on to more than ever. I feel like even with more technology as it comes out. So I'm really glad that you're here in the session. Um, Good evening, welcome, glad you're here. I just let some more people in. As you know, your attention is being divided into numerous tasks at every minute, I feel like. So today, I don't want to add additional pressure to you. The goal is to learn in the session how to protect that attention, how to work with greater intention, and really create and establish habits that are going to help you stay present and productive without feeling overwhelmed because we already feel extremely overwhelmed. So, as we move through this webinar today, I want you to think about your own life. Okay. What tends to pull you away? Think about that. What tends to pull you away from the task that is typically right in front of you? Okay. What would it look like in your life if you could reclaim um, even a little bit more control of your time or your energy or your mental space? What would that look like for you? Okay, so my hope is by the end of this time being together, that you will walk away with practical tools and strategies that you can begin to use right away to regain some focus. Okay. Again, this is something that you'll need to build slowly over time. You're not just going to wake up tomorrow and have full mental clarity, though I wish that was the case. So before we jump in, I want you to take an honest look at your day and your life. Okay, I have a reflection question for you. What pulls your attention away most often? Okay, think about that. What typically pulls your attention away? For some of us, it's our phone. Okay. For others, it's constant emails because that's part of our job. Others, it's social media. Others, it's just a simple background noise. It could be children. It could even be mental, meaning our thoughts. Like when we get really stressed, our thoughts can constantly pull us away. Um, think about what your biggest distraction is outside of everything that we do, and place it in the chat. What typically pulls your attention away most often? Take a moment, think about your own answer. What is the one thing that seems to interrupt your focus over and over and over again? Take like 30 seconds, place your answer in the chat if you'd like to. If you don't want to answer that out loud or with the group, write it down. Like have a pen and paper out, write it down, put it on a sticky note. I just want you to notice it. All right, let me check the chat. A lot of the time we cannot change what we already have not named clearly yet. So this is why I want us to figure out what is pulling our attention away so that we can name it. Okay. This is the very first step in learning how to manage your attention more intentionally. Okay. All right. Yep, kids, I got you, Alyssa. I understand that. My toddlers, I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and Lord help me. Work. Work pulls you from the education piece. Okay. Notifications, emails, phone. Good. A little bit of everything, Martha. Yes. Yes, I'm a teacher. There are constant there's a lot of last minute add-ons. Absolutely. Is that at the question for you? Is that at the end of your day? Is that more towards like after you get home? Are those the add-on tasks, or can you push them to the next day? Let's see. Definitely my thoughts. Yes, thoughts can get in the way. Kids, work phone, emails, it's throughout the day. Okay. So as you're teaching. Okay. Great. So many answers here, and I'm glad you all are able to name this. Um, Again, the goal with this question is to simply just become more aware of what is competing for your attention. Okay. Once you can name it, then we can start building a plan to help better your focus around what is needing your attention. And some of these things, some of you mentioned kids, right? Kids, that's not a bad thing. And guess what? Kids, up until they're a certain age, they really do need you for everything, right? Work. We have to work. We need income to pay for our bills as adults. So it's not, these things are not bad things, but when they constantly compete for our attention and we don't set boundaries, that's when it's a problem. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Let's jump in and briefly discuss, okay, what is focus? All right. I'm going to give you, I love neuroscience. I studied neuroscience. I'm currently studying it in my doctorate degree. So I bring that into every session. All right. When we talk about focus, we're actually really talking about the brain's ability to choose what deserves your attention and then block out what does not. Okay. Neuroscience shows us that focus is not just a matter of trying harder, which many people think, okay, they tell kids even in school, you guys, focus, like try harder. And that's not what focus is. It involves the brain system in your prefrontal cortex, which is right in the front. And that area, it helps with control, attention, planning, self-control. It's a mental skill. Okay. It teaches you to filter out distractions. It's almost like the prefrontal cortex. It's what I like to call, it's like the traffic controller of your brain. Okay. It's the traffic controller. Okay. If it's not working right, okay, your brain's not going to be organized. So there's going to be filtering things going on, right? So when we have like immense stress or multitasking, if that's what we're trying to do, or if we're extremely fatigued because we're not taking care of ourselves, that's going to weaken that area. And then it's going to, okay, you're not going to have the right conditions to stay focused for whatever task you're trying to do. Right? So that's an overview of focus. So what this really means is that focus is an active process. I wish I could put you all in an MRI machine and so I can see your brains light up when you're completing a task because it will tell us so much about how focused you are on that task. Um, your brain is constantly, especially when we're sleeping, it's trying to decode, decipher, or decide what to prioritize. And when distractions are really strong, the process in the prefrontal cortex takes more effort. And that's the problem. So research does show us that when attention is locked in on the task, there are certain brain signals that become more synchronized. Okay, there's more oxygen flowing, there's more connections happening, while other irrelevant information will become suppressed. That's what we want to do. We want to suppress the irrelevant information so that we can focus on the task at hand. This is going to help us when we say, okay, I need to focus on this. It's going to stand out more clearly. Okay? In simple terms, all that. Focus is your brain's way of saying, this matters right now, and I'm going to give it my full attention. And we're going to look at how to do that. This is just the definition of what is focus. So this is why focus is extremely difficult in such a distracted world, because you all gave examples of what distracts you. Um, our brains, they're working against the flood of all these competing signals. So of course our brains are going to be overwhelmed and it doesn't know what to do. Okay? It's trying to filter out all the unimportant tasks. Okay? All right. The good news is, guess what? This focus, it's a skill. It's not fixed, which is amazing how God designed the brain to function. You can strengthen your focus by just creating better conditions for it. Meaning, okay, sleep, we're going to look at that. Okay, sleep, it needs oxygen. You have to have a certain amount of sleep for it to completely heal overnight. Because overnight, when you are fast asleep and you are in a specific sleep mode, your brain is going through, your prefrontal cortex is going through a whole series, hour by hour, of it's almost regenerating, and it's completely switching of saying, okay, this is what I learned today. This is what is happening. Here's how I'm going to remember it. And then that sends signals to the hippocampus, which helps with memory retention. All right. Really cool stuff, but I'm not going to go into it. We're going to stay on task here. The goal is not to force your brain to do something that's impossible. That's not the goal here. The goal is just to support it. So that's why I say focus. It's not a fixed skill. It is something that you can grow into. Okay. Here's why focus matters. Right? It matters specifically for you all as adult learners because, okay, it doesn't just help you get more things done. Okay, that's part of it. But it helps you make better use of your time and specifically your energy that you already have. Okay. When your attention is spread thin across your work, ministry, family, school, and everything else in it, it's very easy to feel like you're always busy, but you're never making progress. You ever feel like that? Okay. Like it's a constant, okay, I got to do this. Us as if we're teachers, okay, it's like, okay, more grading. We're answering emails, okay? If you're, doing all this stuff. Um, it can feel like you're always busy, never making progress. When we have focus, focus helps you slow down the cycle, literally in the prefrontal cortex. It slows down the cycle so that you can give your full attention to that one task at that time. Okay, it also teaches you to understand it deeply, and then you can use that information and finish it with less stress. Okay? So for adult learners, for us, focus also supports learning in a very practical way, right? We tend to learn best when the material is relevant. Okay, when its purpose is very clear for our life and the experience that we bring to the table. So we love to connect any new information we learn at an older age. We love to connect it to real life experience. That's how adult learners learn best. Okay. That means focus is not only about avoiding distractions. Okay, we need to learn how to do that. It's also about staying mentally present long enough to absorb and reflect on the material and then apply it to what we're learning. Okay, so without focus, this is why focus matters, because without it, even really great information can pass by without even sticking. We're not going to understand it. Okay. Lastly, here on the screen, focus also protects your confidence. It builds it and it protects it. Okay, so when you can stay with a task instead of constantly starting and stopping, you are more likely to feel capable in what you're doing. And guess what? You feel like you're more in control. All right. That matters for us as adult learners because we're already carrying stress and self-doubt or the pressure of going back to school at an older age, right? I would say anything over 30, okay? That's when I would say, okay, or yeah, even 28, 30, I would say you as adult learners, there's a lot of stress and different types of factors that would say, I have self-doubt or pressure in this at that age, which causes us to have a scattered mind. And it makes all of these feelings feel higher or worse. Um, but when you begin to build focus into your daily routine, you're actually creating a healthier, steadier path for you. Okay. One that's going to support your learning and also your well-being. Okay. And that's where the confidence comes in. Focus matters. If you take anything from this slide, I will say this. Focus matters because it helps you as adult learners learn more effectively, manage stress more wisely, and you're able to move towards your specific goals, whether that's in academics or your spiritual walk or relationally, whatever that looks like, with greater confidence. That's why focus matters. Focus looks a lot differently as an adult than it does when you were 15 or 17 years old. Okay? All right, let me check the chat briefly, just see where we're at. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. No, 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 you're not antisocial. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Glad you're here. All right, let's look at some practical strategies. Okay, now you're like, okay, you've talked so much about the brain. We need practical strategies. I gave you 5 here on the screen. I'm going to go in and I'm going to talk about all these. Okay. Um, when it comes to reclaiming your attention, I say this, you should already know this, but I say this as a reminder. The goal is not to become perfect at focusing overnight. I say this over and over again. It's not to be perfect in what we do. Okay. There's no perfection. Um, I don't even give out 100% because there's no perfection, right? The goal to reclaim your attention is to make it easier for your brain to stay on task just by removing some of the things that keep pulling you away. I know some of you said kids, right? They need your attention. No, we cannot remove them, but there are specific ways that we can still be attentive to our children and yet still finish and complete a task that we need to and be focused, okay? This might mean turning off notifications, setting a timer, giving your kids a snack and a fun show for 20 minutes and sitting in the same room because a lot of times our kids just want to be near us, right? Clearing your workspace, having a clean environment, okay? Or giving yourself, telling yourself and writing it down, hey, this is my clear start and stop time. At 7:30, this is what I'm doing. I'm closing my computer. I know and I understand I did not finish what I wanted to, but I'm going to stop because I need to do this and you need to reclaim your attention in something else. Okay. These ways are going to help you feel more, it's going to help you feel more manageable. Okay. Another great way is to break things into smaller pieces. We'll look more into that because really big tasks, they feel extremely challenging. I meet with students on a daily basis and they tell me, they've been in the workforce for, 40 years, and yet they still tell me, I don't know how to break this assignment down because the instructions are too long and I don't understand what it's saying. All right. And that's when we look at the instructions and we don't always have to start at the very top. Did you know that? Right? Maybe when you're writing a paper, you don't always have to start with a thesis statement. You can start with formatting first, and then you can say, hey, I'm going to write down maybe my top goal for this paper before you do your thesis statement. That's something you can work on, right? Breaking it down. Okay. Again, you all learn and you do better when learning feels relevant to you in your life. It feels realistic and there's small wins that are there. Those small wins are going to create momentum for you. If you don't have the small wins, it's not going to help you um, do this any easier. Okay? You can also support your attention by changing the way you work. If you would like to, I do learning assessments. So if you would like to take a learner assessment to see what type of learner you are as an adult, because I can guarantee you it has changed since you were in high school or even like 10 years ago. It's probably changed. If you would like to take a learner assessment, I mean, it's a 10-minute test. I send it to you in a PDF. You send me your responses, and then we meet for 15 minutes. I'm happy to do that if you would like to see what kind of learner you are, because I tell you, sometimes just the way that you incorporate what you're doing, it's not supporting your focus, right? If you're a hands-on or kinesthetic learner, more than likely, if you're sitting at a desk all day long, your focus is not, it's not going well. I can guarantee you that if you use movement while you're working, more than likely, you will have a better routine and your brain is going to be able to reset more often. So that's why I say really incorporate movement, and taking short breaks. Do not sit down and try and write a paper in 5 hours. It's not going to work. That's why I recommend even every hour. If you're someone who can work for an hour straight and you're focused, that's awesome. Some of you might say, I can only do 20 minutes, 15 minutes. That's fine. Then get up and go put in the laundry, switch it from the washer to the dryer. Simple 5 minutes. Okay. Some other strategies that you can incorporate is going to be simple, healthy routines, meaning your regular routines, they must help you in some way to regain your focus. So I talk about sleep a lot. I have some of my adult students, they are, they're working 40, 60 hours a week. They've got families at home like you all do. You're in ministry, and you're not getting to bed till 1 a.m. and then you're waking up at 6 for work. That's a problem. I understand there are things that we cannot control, whether that's with work or family life, but there are some ways that we can get you to bed earlier. So if you would like some ways on how to do so, we just email me, or you can email the Ally Center and I can get you set up with like a 30-minute appointment to discuss how we can set healthy routines for your life that are going to better support your focus. Last tip is to control your environment. You must reduce the clutter. The clutter, I could go into a whole 1 hour session about clutter in your environment. If there is clutter near you, especially for women, the prefrontal cortex goes into a chaos mode and it wants to start cleaning because you can visually see the clutter. And it's very, some of us will say, well, I live in clutter, like I can block it out. You probably can, but there is still parts of the brain that it wants to control the environment. It wants to do so. And it's probably not helping you when you're trying to study. Noise is a big one. Noise, try and reduce the noise. Though I have students say, hey, I do really well when there's a ton of noise. I study best in this area. That's wonderful. You need to figure out what works best for you. Try and reduce the digital distractions or interruptions. It's going to lower the load on your attention and it's going to make your focus sustainable. Easier to sustain, actually. Okay? Again, your brain focuses better when you give it fewer things to fight against, right? Again, we're in a world where there are distractions left and right. I feel like if we see a bird fly by or a bunny hop in the grass, we automatically just jump. We're like, oh my goodness, look, right? And we just lose distractions. Okay. We lose our focus because of the distractions. Sorry. So let me check the chat. I see some stuff coming in. It's just to make sure. Yes. Okay, yes, you live in this box. You have no choice. All right, well, let me think about that one. We'll see what strategies I can give you there for that. Let's look at building a focus routine. All right, just like you have a calendar and you already have a daily routine built in, there's going to be a focus routine. All right, and when it comes to building a focus routine, first thing I recommend is to keep it simple. That's it. Simple. Okay. You must start by choosing a regular time to focus, a regular place to work, or a small goal for that session so that your brain knows exactly what to expect. Okay? Um, it's just like if you want to start working out, or if you randomly decide tomorrow, you wake up and you're like, I'm gonna run like 3 miles. For many of us, I can guarantee that's not going to happen. Okay. Because we didn't even prep the brain appropriately. All right. And for people who have consistent routines, they've built that over time and they constantly talk to themselves through self-motivation, and they are telling their brain what to expect because they plan things out. Same with your focus. Okay. When you sit down to start a paper or to research for your class, you must prep the brain and your environment to do so. Okay. That means go grab your water. Go grab a charger if your computer's about to die. Make sure everything is set up, ready to go. Open up your computer. Open up all the tabs that you need. Have Canvas open, your library, Google, whatever that looks like, and tell your brain it needs to sit down and focus and prepare itself. So choose a consistent time if you can. All right, if you can. I know some of you truck drivers, I understand. Some of you have really weird work schedules. I get that too. I used to work third shift. That was just really weird for me. All right, but do your best. Like if you know that you're going to be working this time Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it looks differently Tuesday, Thursday, you're going to have to plan your days out accordingly. Okay? Consistency matters more than the intensity at first. Some of us just want to jump into these things full speed ahead. It's the consistency. You're going to have to try different strategies that work best for your life. Okay? Because I say consistency matters is because the more predictable the routine feels, the easier it becomes then to get started. Consistency matters more. The more predictable the routine feels, the easier it becomes to get started. Think about that. All right. So think about some things in your life that you're like, yeah, I do this on a daily basis now, but I had to get there by doing this, this, and this consistently. Okay. Second tip is to build your routine around your life, right? If you're constantly driving for work, you're flying, whatever that looks like, you're going to need to build your routine around your life schedule. Some things I will tell you, some things that work for me are not going to work for you. The general things that I give you, the general strategies, they work for most people because research has shown that. Okay? But I lived in a very organized, chaotic world. Okay. My life, I have got young children. I work full time. My husband is full-time state police and he's in the military. And guess what? He's deploying, for 6 months. He leaves in like 4 weeks. So my life kind of just explodes in 4 weeks. And guess what? There's not much planning, which is why I say it's very organized, but also very chaotic. But every strategy that I give you, I incorporate into my daily life, and it has changed my life. Okay. This is research backed by neuroscience as well. And the Lord talks about in scripture, how to build your focus as well. All right. I'll stop there. Let's talk about building, focus blocks. I like to call them focus time blocks gradually. Again, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and you're not going to say, oh, today's going to be, an awesome day. I feel so focused. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. Okay. It might work day one. It's not going to work day two or day three or the next 6 weeks. It starts slowly and then you can gradually increase your focus, meaning some of us, our focus span might be 30 minutes. But because focus is a skill that you get to enhance, we can gradually up our focus times and we can have better attention moving forward. So, a good focus routine should also include a very few basics that are going to support attention, like a clear workspace. I talk about reducing clutter so much, the best that you can. Okay. Have every material that you need. gather it together before you sit down. If you sit down, you're like, oh, I forgot the water. Oh, I forgot, a hair tie, or oh, I forgot to go make sure that this is done. All right. Your brain's going to be focusing on every other task. Those are distractions. Gather everything you need and then sit down. Lastly is going to be take short breaks. You must take short breaks to keep your attention fresh. It sounds incredibly counterintuitive. Even my college students on campus will tell me I'm insane for telling them, they can't stay up past this time, though I recommend it. I don't require it. And also I say, even during classes when I teach an hour and a half class, I make my students get up and I make them walk around the building, like inside around the hallway. And I say, go walk and come back. It was like a case study, but I did it last semester. I did it with one class where I had them walk, and the other classes I didn't. And the one class that came back in their survey and the report at the end stated that they had better attention span. They felt more refreshed due to the walking during the hour and a half class time. Same with you all. If you can't get up and walk, okay, do something different, but take a break, meaning tell your brain to not look at what it's currently doing and focus on something. No, doom scrolling is not taking a break because research shows, right, your eyes are going up and down so quickly, your brain is trying to focus on that. Do something that refreshes you. Okay. A chore, if you can, step outside. Honestly, natural air and sunlight are going to give you a full boost and you'll come back extremely refreshed. Okay. Again, it's important to remember that focus endurance works almost exactly like physical stamina. Okay. I know most people don't see it that way, but they work very similarly. Okay. You do not go from zero to a 2 hour workout in one day. Okay. It just doesn't happen. And it's the same is true for your attention. Okay. Small, steady practice is going to work better than trying to force these long periods of reading or studying of concentration early on when your brain's not even ready for it. Okay. It's just like a child, a 5-year-old. That 5-year-old is not going to take calculus because that child's brain is not ready for calculus. They must start from the beginning and build their way up. Okay. Same for you all. You must plan and protect your time. Just like you schedule your dentist appointment, you must schedule. And if you need to do this, do it. Schedule a time for yourself. Set that timer and say, okay, yep, my alarm just went off. That means I need a break for 10 minutes. And also learn to communicate your needs to other people. Okay. If you need an accountability partner, you got to let someone know, say, hey, can you just remind me that my mental well-being and your physical well-being is just as important as academics. It really is. And you're not going to do your best work unless you are taking care of your focus. Okay? All right. All right. I want us to do a small activity here. I want us to what's called reset your attention. All right. So briefly, let's go back to that distraction that you wrote in the chat in the beginning of the session. Hopefully you remember what that was. You can go back in the chat and check it. I want you to choose a reset strategy for how you will handle that distraction moving forward. Okay. Here's an example on the screen. In a simple sentence, okay, in the next 7 days, I will focus on this by doing this. Okay. Here's an example for you. In the next 7 days, I will focus on my reading by turning off my phone for 20 minutes each evening. Okay. It's very specific. Another example that you might think about is in the next 7 days or in the next 14 days, I will focus on my homework by working at a specific area for 15 minutes with all my notifications turned off. All right. So try and be specific. I want you to take about a minute or two and write your own sentence down. Come up with a statement that is going to help you reset your attention. Keep it very simple. Keep it realistic, though. Okay. Keep it realistic. Do not say, okay, I'm gonna study the next 7 days. Every day I'm gonna study for 2 hours straight. That's not realistic. And also, then you didn't hear anything I said in this session because that's not possible. You need to take small breaks. Be very specific to your life. Okay. This is going to be your personal plan. And as we write this down, you're actually telling your brain that you want to work on it instead of just saying it out loud. This is why handwriting is so crucial. All right. Let me check the chat. Take the next 2 minutes. Um, and write down, it doesn't, not in the chat, write down to yourself, okay? A sentence about what you plan on doing with that one distraction that you mentioned earlier in the session. How do you plan on um, reviving your attention or resetting your attention? Give you about a minute. If you would like to, you can share it in the chat. Absolutely. I can guarantee you the people here would love to see how you plan to reset your attention, and we can also give you some advice on how to do so. All right, Alyssa, that's great. Yes, I'm going to, and she mentioned that she's going to schedule study time when her kids have electronic time. Yes, and that's going to help with your focus. Yes, it's also going to ease your mind too of, okay, they're right here. They're safe, right? It's okay. They can have electronics for the time being. Wonderful. Okay, Holly says, yes, in the next 7 days, I will focus on my schoolwork each day for 2 to 3 hours with taking 5 minute breaks every 45 minutes by turning my, yes. So very specific, realistic. Seems realistic for your life, so that's wonderful. All right, great goal. Again, what you write down is something, don't just try it for one day, okay? You're going to need to try it for a few days, and it's going to be really weird for yourself and for anyone else involved because they're not used to it, which is why it's very important to say, hey, so and so, this is what I'm going to be trying. I'm going to see if it makes a difference in my life. There's no harm in trying. Okay. If it doesn't work, like for Holly, she gave specific times. So if that doesn't work, schoolwork each day for 2 to 3 hours, 5 minute breaks every 4 to 5 minutes. If that doesn't work for, and you try it for a week, I'm going to recommend either upping or lowering your break time. You might actually need a 10-minute break instead of five. Okay. So some of you will need to make some adjustments with these, and that's okay. Okay. Yes. Schedule limited time, but during pick up and drop off. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. William, biblical studies. Yeah. Putting your phone, yeah. Leaving it in the other room. Yeah. Yep. Leaving it in the other room is really important because, as you know, if you can visually see it, right? You can visually see it. The brain goes into I want mode. Okay, subconscious, right? So when we see it, more than likely we want to check the phone, right? Even if it's on silent, it's because it's still there, right? Awesome. All right, good, Holly. Glad that makes sense for you. You can also reach out and let me know how it works for you. For the next week, I will set my phone aside for 40 minutes to hear from me. Okay, great, Martha. Yeah. Yes, okay. Yep. Yes, awesome. And see if you can add a time frame in there too. Um, when you're trying to study, like your alone time with the Lord, and yeah, spouses can be, that's true, that spouses can be a distraction too, and sometimes they don't even realize it, you know? Um, and it's not that they're doing it in a harmful way, it's more of maybe they want to talk or they're asking all these questions and you're like, my laptop is open. Do you not realize? Like, I'm studying right now. I'm trying to research for my paper. Okay. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. 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 All right, thank you for sharing those. And keep that too. Keep them written down and try it for the next, I say 7 days because we want to try it. We want to give it a week. Let's try it for a week and see what happens. I would love for you to reach out and let me know how it's going. And if it's not going well too, we can always readjust. That is okay. It's okay that we have to readjust. Okay. So let's look at what's next. Okay. And to summarize everything, today we identified what pulls your attention away most often. You learned a few practical ways to reclaim your focus. We looked at what focus is. You created a one sentence focus plan for the next 7 days, and we looked at why focus matters. And that last part right there of creating that plan, that's the key. You do not have to overhaul your entire life tonight, um, or in just the next week. It's because it's not going to happen. Okay. What you do need to do is follow through with it. All right. And sometimes that can be really challenging too, is by writing that down, it's also a small promise to you of saying, hey, hey, come on, we got this. Like, let's try and do something different because clearly something is not working. Okay. Um, if you do nothing else, like from this session, if you do nothing else, I recommend that you do this one thing. Okay. Just protect a little bit of your time for a specific task. Okay. Whether that's with your children, your alone time with the Lord, your work, whatever that looks like, turn off or put away the one thing that keeps pulling you away. Typically, that's our phones, okay? And also give yourself permission to be fully present in that window, okay? Because over time, these small moments, they're going to add up. This is why most of us are at the point where we have horrible focus. Our attention span is not really that great. Um, and our ability to grow our focus, it's not growing at all because of these other issues. Your attention is extremely valuable, especially at an older age. As an adult learner, protecting it is one of the best things that we can learn. Okay. It will reduce your stress and it's going to build the confidence that you need as an adult learner. Okay. Um, as a reminder, keep it extremely simple. Just like that one sentence of regaining your attention, keep it very, very simple. Choose one distraction to reduce. Don't try and reduce everything at once. It's like trying to become healthier or to make a major life change. You can't do it all at once. Choose something. Choose one habit to focus on and to build, or one task to complete. I know there's a lot of tasks that you have to get done, especially in an online space, 8 weeks. You have to get a lot of stuff done per week. Choose one thing at a time. Easiest thing I recommend you all to do is say, every Wednesday you have a discussion post due. Do it. Do that discussion post, put it down, put it away, close your laptop. Done. Then you focus on the next task. That might be when every meeting, every time you attend your live Zoom session, your class, if you have, take 30 seconds after you attend, go to the meeting participation report and just write attended because you just finished another task by doing it right away. Okay? Simple things that you can do. Keep it very simple. Okay? Your attention is extremely valuable. I want you to remember that. So, thank you for attending tonight's session. If you have questions or if you would like that learner assessment, please reach out. My email is at the top, cpatchk@lbc.edu. If you would like to schedule an appointment with any one of our professionals, there's 4 of us. Please email allycenter@lbc.edu. We'd be happy to meet with you. The 4 of us, we are professionals in this field. And we're also all professors, which is wonderful. We teach at LBC, so we would love to meet with you. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions before we head out that you would like me to answer with the group? I know we're done a little earlier, which is awesome. You're welcome. I see in the chat. You're welcome. I'm glad it was very helpful. Thank you for that humor of the day. Awesome. I love it. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Okay. I look forward to seeing you in the next session. If you do email me, by the way, starting Monday, all next week, I'll be out on vacation. So guess what? I'm setting the boundary and I'm uninstalling my Outlook app. So that means no emails for me, but you will receive an email saying, hey, I'm on vacation. I'll respond to you on the 15th if you do email me. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening. Thank you for coming and God bless. Bye, everyone.